Today I want to share my number one technique that I use in my life that keeps me aligned, keeps me feel like I'm never losing myself, and if anything, makes me feel I'm evolving myself around who I want to be in the world. If you want to learn this technique, make sure you watch out. So one thing I've learned in helping lots of people is there's often a moment I know I've done a good job when I'm helping somebody, and it's when they say to me, Bevan, I just feel like I'm being me. I just feel like I'm being me. And this is a really interesting concept to think about, is if I just feel like I'm being me, what does that mean? And I suppose when I kind of throw that out there, what do you think that means for you? If you were to say, I just feel like I'm being me, what would be happening in your life to set up the conditions where that was in place? Now, the framework I work with in my life is kind of, first of all, is who am I? And who am I kind of represents my values. What are my values that are the most important things to me? Secondly, what do I love doing in my life? These for me are people, fitness, and music. So my time in my life wants to be spent doing those three things: people, fitness, and music. And then my third step is, how do I want to evolve myself in those areas? So how do I use my goals, my growth pathways through people, fitness, and music to create a deeper understanding through my values and who I want to be as a person? And again, it goes back to that alignment, that kind of my growth is trying to create a deeper understanding of who I am in this world and the things I love doing. But there's an even more kind of practical technique that I use every week in my life. And it starts like this. So first of all, I have my weekly meeting every Sunday, and one thing I do is I choose one of my values. Now, I have 10 values that I try to hold strongly in my life, and I know that if I'm doing well with these, I know I'm being true to myself and I'm evolving myself. And I've kind of broken my 10 values into two areas. One is my moral values, and one is my kind of performance values. I've got them written behind me here. So first of all, one is love, honesty, happiness, fun, and freedom. And then the performance, so those are my moral ones. Then my performance ones are growth, focus, ambition, bravery, and creativity. So what I do is when I have my weekly meeting, I choose one of those values that I'm going to focus on for the next 7 days of my life. So let's say I choose honesty for the week coming up. So then what I do is I think, okay, honesty is the area that I'm going to try to evolve this week. Then what I do is when I have my morning meeting is my kind of 15 minutes where I kind of think about the day in front of me. A part of my morning meeting is I look at that kind of value, that thing of honesty, and then I try to scan my day to see where honesty could be challenged. Or I would put in my mind that today I want to be aware of the moments when honesty can be challenged. So you're either looking for moments where it could be challenged. So let's say, I know I had to have a hard conversation with someone and I had to be really honest about giving them a critique in something. That could be a hard moment for me. Or it could just be in a moment of the day and maybe I want to tell a white lie. And that would be a moment where I'm confronted by honesty. So it's either a moment I can see where I'm going to be confronted by this thing, or just putting the awareness in my mind, knowing that this is going to come up. And then what I want to do is I'm kind of getting ready for that moment. And then in that moment when I'm confronted by my honesty or my need to be honest, I'm trying to think to myself, what's the higher level of this value and how do I act upon it right now? What's the higher level of this value and how do I act upon it right now? I'll give you a really interesting example. So a few weeks ago, I was out and about, and I was out kind of at night. It was actually New Year's Eve, actually. A couple of weeks ago, New Year's Eve. And one of my values is fun. And I'm the guy who wants to have fun in life. And basically, I was DJ at a little group of people where we were camping. And I thought it was my job to help other people to have fun. So I put the music on, and luckily Joe and I got up dancing. We started dancing. And I love having fun, but because we got up and started dancing, kind of gave everyone else permission to start dancing. And for the next 3 hours, our whole crew danced the night away. Now, my need to have fun, that was a moment where fun was really important to me, that I wanted to go deeper into fun. And this is the whole idea, is basically having a process that reminds me of my values that are important to me. And then to see the moments in my day and in my week where I'm going to be either challenged or have opportunity to go deeper into those values. And then in those moments, to actually just go to the higher level of that value. That higher level of focus, that higher level of freedom, that higher level of fun, that higher level of ambition. And then what I find really interesting is in that moment, if you win that moment, you feel a sense of alignment. You feel you're being true to yourself. but often you feel you're evolving your values along the way. And that's why this is such a powerful tool in my life. So to recap, this all starts from, are you being the version of yourself that you want to be? And if you aren't, first of all, identify what are the values that you feel are true to you when you're being true to yourself. Then secondly, the process that I add is once a week, I determine a value that I'm going to focus on for the week. In the morning, I basically scan my day based on that value, looking for moments where I may be challenged by that value, or I put in my head, be aware of moments where I am challenged by that value. And then when I capture that moment, I try to take the decision that evolves me deeper into that value. I find this a really, really powerful tool. And if you are somebody who's in that place in your life where you're feeling you're a little bit lost and you're not sure who you are and all those kind of big questions sit in your head, this is a technique that you can add to your life because, I don't know, for me, it works really well.